I'm on my way out to my back garden, vegetable garden, where today's project is going to be to build another 4-foot square raised bed and fill it with the 7 grow bags of soil that I've been using in the greenhouse all summer. Hopefully, later this afternoon, get my garlic planted. But on the way, I just had to stop and show you a little look at the latest garden ornament on Campobello. You see these strange looking yellow rods with orange reflectors on top. I got those put in the ground the other day before the ground freezes up. Just an attempt to stop the man who plows my snow for me in the wintertime from destroying the bed of lavender that has grown quite successfully this year. All first year plants and looking pretty good. But a snowplow could do quite a bit of damage to them, so I've put up the reflectors. This is where he likes to pile the excess snow. Hopefully I'll convince him to do that elsewhere. Well, as you can see, there's still growth happening in the old 4-foot square raised beds that I've been using all summer. Frost hasn't taken anything yet. I'm still getting ground cherries, and further over there are a few cabbage that are still getting a bit larger, so I don't want to take anything out of them just yet. Tomato plants have mostly died back. There's still a lot of green leaves, but a lot of the lower leaves are brown. And I think this time of year that has mostly to do with the decreased amount of daylight. Not so much the cold weather. It hasn't been that cold yet, although I guess there's a serious threat of frost for tonight. And what I'm going to be doing is building this bed, and I have bought myself a cordless drill screwdriver combination thing. Tim the Tool Man I'm not, but this was only $30. Got it on the internet. Quite impressed with it so far, although I haven't actually used it. It's nice, heavy, and seems to be quite powerful. I think it'll probably do no more than I use these sort of things for. When I ordered it, it was to put together my new chicken coop when it arrives sometime in the next week or two. I hope to have chickens next year. But after it was in the mail on its way to me, I thought it would be easier to put these things together with screws than it would be with nails. So I'm glad I'm not building a house with screws, however. They cost me 30 cents a piece for 2.5-inch wood screws. So we'll see what happens. I'll take the occasional little clip as I move on here, sort of a time-lapse photography of what's happening. Well, there's the first box built. I guess the old adage is holding true. You get what you pay for. The little drill is still adequate for my use, but it doesn't really have torque enough, even set on its highest setting, to completely finish driving the wood screw, especially into this utility grade spruce lumber, which I think has probably got a lot of moisture in it. If it was something that were kiln dried or whatever, it would drive easier. But anyway, I had to finish up the last little bit with a screwdriver on each one. And I won't go any closer because I suspect this thing still looks suspiciously like I built it myself. But next on the agenda is to build one of my trellises covered with chicken wire for peas or beans to grow up next summer. I might as well get that out of the way and done right now too. Well, there's the trellis frame put together. Now I have to add the chicken wire before I nail it to the back of the raised bed. Well, that's the construction phase, I guess, finished. The trellis covered with chicken wire on the back of it. But it looks like there's going to be a day 2 to this project. It's getting kind of late in the afternoon, getting shady out here. And I have to yet clean the tomato vines and things out of the greenhouse before I can bring out the grow bags full of soil. I also need to buy at least 3 bags of compost. One of the manure compost, probably sheep manure, I guess, is what was available the last time I was in the garden center, to add to the 8 squares of garlic that I plan to plant. So, decent morning tomorrow morning. I'll finish this off then. Well, Well, it's October 14th, day 2 of this little project, and I guess that's showing up there. I can no longer brag that I haven't had my first frost yet. Woke up around 8 o'clock this morning and looked out the window, and everything here is covered with the first frost. A short-lived one, I guess. It's supposed to warm up a bit today, and tomorrow is supposed to be rain. So get my garlic planted today. They'll be watered in tomorrow. Well, those are all the vines that were in the grow bags in the greenhouse, removed and brought out to the compost pile. I just wanted to show you this because it's got a lot of jute twine, if you can pick that out in there. The jute I was using to hold the vines up in the summertime. It's one good thing about using jute, it's a natural substance, and just put it in the compost pile and it decomposes along with everything else. Unfortunately, there's no sense in trying to save it for another year because it also breaks down in sunlight. Just having been out there for one summer, it's already quite easy to part the jute strings. I just had an interesting thing happen when I was up at the greenhouse. I guess this first frost gave some of the Canada geese the idea that it's time to go south. A large flock of Canada geese flew over. Unfortunately, the camera was out here in the vegetable garden and I was up at the greenhouse, but 25 or 30 or more and honking as they went over. Well, there's the 7 bags of potting mixture that I use for grow bags in the greenhouse. All brought out to the back garden here, and a little further on are 3 bags of composted cow manure that I want to put in with the grow bag soil for my garlic that I hope to get planted shortly. I sort of feel good about using this particular product. Both of them are made by Green World, which is a New Brunswick company, so wherever possible I like to promote and sponsor the local economy, I guess. Well, that's the 7 bags of soilless mix. I said soil earlier, but it's actually a soilless mix of peat moss, compost, and perlite, almost in the exact proportions that Mr. Bartholomew calls for in his books on square foot gardening, so you don't have to buy all 3 ingredients and mix it. You can buy this one and you've got it there. And I've added 2 bags of the cow manure compost. I'm just about to mix that in. I think 2 bags are going to be enough because I'm only going to mix it in the front half of the bed. That's all I'm planting in this fall. The bed might look a little overfull with soil and compost right now, but my experience with the ones that I started last year is that over the winter, with all the rain and a little bit of snow we had and whatever, it compacts and settles down, so it really won't be overly full come spring. Well, I just finished getting the garlic ready for planting. I have 2 varieties. This one, all these cloves here I grew myself this year. They both originate from the same place, from Salt Spring Island seeds in British Columbia. But this particular garlic is a hardneck. Actually, both varieties are hardneck varieties. This one I would call more like an elephant garlic. It only has, on average, 4 cloves per head. I did have one head that had 6 cloves in it, but it got compensated. I had another head that only had 2, so I still averaged 4 cloves per head. Very good garlic, quite mild, not terribly strong, but I'm very pleased with the way that it grew here. I've never had such luck before with garlic. These are, as I said, are cloves that I grew myself. And the other one is also from Salt Spring Island, another hardneck variety, and I brought that in this fall. I'm sticking with hardnecks. I really don't know anything much about the difference in softneck and hardneck, but since I had good luck with the hardneck, I decided to stick with it. The main difference here, the color of the skin, of course, but each one of these heads has anywhere from 10 to 11 cloves. So there's more cloves, and they're smaller, more like the type that's more typical of what you purchase in a store, I guess. White skin outside, but a dark brown skin inside on this one. I bought 3 heads of it, so there's quite a bit to plant. With the 2 of them, I should be able to save next year my own cloves again and not have to buy anymore if the two varieties are as successful as it was this year. I guess it wouldn't hurt if I told you the names of them, would it? The one that I grew this year and I'm replanting is called Fish River Number 3, which for some reason Salt Spring Island didn't reoffer this year anyway, so I'm glad I'm saving some. And the variety on the right, the new variety that I'm putting in for the first time, they call Salt Spring Select. And it's a variety that they have grown in their gardens for many years, so it's acclimatized to the west coast, not here, but I don't think that makes much difference as far as garlic is concerned. Well, that's the bed all squared off into 16 one-foot squares, approximately. And the garlic laid out, ready to be planted. I'm planting 6 bulbs to a square. A few of the Salt Spring Select have got 7 in them because there were some pretty small cloves, so I added one more to those squares, but I think that's probably plenty enough. I think the Bartholomew book recommends a lot more, but I think things grow better if they have space and can use up more of the nutrients that's around them. Well, garlic is a bulb, so I tend to plant it the same way that I plant any other bulb. I use my dibble, just make a nice impression down. I go down at least 6 or 7 inches. It always seems to come up anyway. Make sure you plant it with the root end down, I guess, is the important thing. And in this soil that I've added so much compost to, I have great hopes of what might happen in the spring. And I just smooth it over, fill in the holes, pat it down. Compost and things here are already quite moist. I won't be watering it in because, as I said earlier, our forecast is for rain tomorrow, and it says rain at times heavy, so I guess Mother Nature is going to do the watering. Well, thank you for watching. I hope that was at least a bit informative. Just do a shot across the garden here before I close down. You see behind the fence there is my other 4 raised beds. I still have to harvest the kale, the Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, and beets. I guess that'll be my next video as we continue to get more frost here. Those things have got to come out of the ground pretty soon. And I think looking up here, sorry about the ambulance or whatever that is in the background, but I think that's the same tree that I started this video with, only from the other side. I'm out in the back garden instead of my front yard. Anyway, thank you for watching.